Hey guys, I just wanted to make this quick video talking about an experience that I had right after Miami Fashion Week, unrelated to the actual Miami Fashion Week event. But I just want to do this video for awareness. Long story short, I had this gentleman who had this business opportunity, and we exchanged information as far as like phone numbers. He didn't have a business card on him, but I didn't have mine either, so I didn't really think anything was sketchy with the things that he was talking about. Fast forward to the next day, I ended up meeting with this certain gentleman the next evening in a local place. Long story short, there were some red flags that I saw, and I would just want to talk about it. Number one, for most of you who have been following my nonprofit mental health support page, Hope for the Beautiful Minds, you guys know that a long time ago I was actually sucked into this human trafficking ring for 2 years, from the age of 17 to 19. If I didn't have that horrendous experience, I wouldn't have been able to feel that discomfort in my spirit, like, oh my God, something is up. He asked me for my resume and my portfolio, which I brought. We started talking. He reviewed literally item by item my resume. So I'm like, okay, this is good. He's just not skimming it over. Everything's looking good. It kind of took a left turn, and he's like, okay, so let's take a break for a second. And, let's talk about, it took a turn way left. And he started talking about like the equivalent of paying me to fly around, and the money amount was like ridiculous. If somebody's trying to sell you this dream, trying to make you feel like you're the only one who can accomplish this dream, and offering you like hundreds of thousands of dollars, or close to $1 million at the end of 1 year. I know some people blow up overnight, and that's a blessing and that's great, but as far as like just a gentleman offering you the world and everything like that, just for you being pretty, that's not a thing. And in my situation, at first it ended up being a local ring. I was with a boyfriend who was much older than me, so he knew what was up, but I did not. So it was a modeling cover. The building looked legit and everything like that. There was contracts that I had to sign, but when I got dropped off to my first gig, it was with a gentleman with a gun in his lap, and he dropped me off in front of a Super 8 and told me to walk into room 6 kind of situation, and I didn't have anywhere to run, and I was terrified. Okay, so phone died, but I'm just trying to get this out here while I still have the courage to do so. Honestly, this was something that was like it was a very shameful part of my life in my past, but hopefully that this video will help some of the younger naive girls, just full of hope and life, and don't let anybody take advantage of that dream. One of the things that he kept emphasizing was, what are your goals, what are your goals, what are your goals? And the point of him doing that was for him to gain leverage. He wanted to know exactly what were the desires of my heart, all these dreams or whatever, only to turn around and use it against me when I started to get uncomfortable. The point is, this chapter in my life was something very shameful. But I feel that everything we go through in life, sometimes it's bigger than ourselves, sometimes it's just to help someone else. When I was going through it, I didn't really have anybody legit in the industry to look up to, that I was close to, that could give me pointers and insiders. The experience finished with, hey, I try to stay calm. I didn't want to make any sudden movements. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I said, okay, that sounds like something that I'm definitely gonna have to take some time to think about it. And that's when he got kind of like all, that's when the pressure started. So he started to, well, how much time do you think? When would I hear from you? That was another red flag. So now I'm over here just like, I'm gathering my belongings. I have my keys in my hand, just ready to, as soon as I see my car, just pop that bad boy on lock and try to get in there as quick as possible. I was scared to make any sudden movements, just because you just never know. So I walk into the parking lot, and he parked across from me, but he reverse parked, so I wasn't able to take a picture of his tags. But also, he was in a red Ferrari that day, and the night before when I met him, on the last day of Miami Fashion Week, he was like in a Rolls Royce, but it had like a paper plate anyway, so I don't know if it was just, one of these guys renting fancy cars to try to help put together this illusion, or what. And he wore shades the entire time we were talking, you know, so it was just, and he had a hat, so it's very hard to actually like distinguish his facial feature. But here's the key: he never used the word sex. And if I was an undercover cop, that's like, you know, a big thing. So he never used the word, you know, sex or anything like that. He was very careful, you know, just kind of beating around the bush and treading around the subject, but leading up to it, but not being completely direct. He sort of tried to come in for a hug, but he grabbed my hips. You know, like he grabbed my hips like as if he was trying to, you know, grab my butt, but he grabbed like, you know, firmly, like with two hands, like my hips. And he tried to open my dress. So I was wearing this long, so at that point, like I was so startled, you know, I got my butt up in that car and I locked the door and I just tried to get my bearing because I'm like, okay, like I have like a 40-minute drive home. And then I watched him get into his car and I was waiting for him to drive off. Because at this point now I'm like, okay, he didn't get what he wanted. I didn't give him a positive yes, but he can tell that I'm uncomfortable. Is this dude about to follow me? So I try to wait a few minutes and I'm just looking at him to see what he's doing, like in his car. And he's just sort of looking at me. He's not on the phone. He's not doing anything. So now I feel scared. You know, I'm like, oh my God, like. So I end up driving off, but I drove in circles around the parking lot to see if I was being followed. And when I felt like I wasn't, then I exited and I made my way home. Guys, I hope that you take some time to, I know the video's a little lengthy. I hope that this information helps somebody out there stay safe. Girls, look out for those red flags. You know, if somebody's promising you the world, you know, crossing personal boundaries, if they're being sketchy with the information, you can, I know it's not always possible, try to bring somebody with you. I couldn't have nobody come with me that day, but one of the smart things I did was I didn't get in the car with him because when we first got there, he's like, oh yeah, come on, let's find somewhere to go. No ma'am, no sir. You know, the first thing I thought of was like, you know, get out or something like that. I'm like, what if I get in this guy's car and I you know, he locks me in and I can't open the door and he transfers me, something crazy, you know? So never get in the car with a stranger. It doesn't matter how fancy the car is. Meet in a public area. And then one of the things I did was I did check in with someone when I reached my destination. Hey, I just arrived, you know, if you don't hear from me so-and-so, just kind of check on me, you know, just, it seems like over the top or whatever, but these things could really help keep you safe, could even save your life, since they prey on, like, you know, a lot of girls have this dream of making it like big and famous and I can make you a star. Like, you know, keep your integrity. You know, what's for you, it's meant for you, and just trust the process and just keep doing what you are doing and just be grateful for where you're at in life. You know, don't try to take shortcuts. You know, if I was sold on money, you know, that could have been my downfall right there or anything like that. And just look out for those red flags, those creeps. Best of luck to you girls and gentlemen. You know, I don't know. I'm not going to just sit here and pick one class. I'm just speaking from my experiences, but just all of you stay safe and just be careful, you know. All right, guys, bye.